Middle-earth has known countless terrors, wars that shattered realms, dark lords who twisted life and death, and creatures of such horror that their shadows lingered for centuries. Among them, dragons stand apart. They are not mere beasts. They are forces of destruction, beings of greed and malice, and the embodiments of fire, shadow, and ruin. From Glaurung, the first dragon to lay waste to kingdoms, to Smaug, the last of the great fire-breathers, each carved their names in blood and flame, in Tolkien's mythology. These creatures left scars upon the world that would never heal. They are legends of unparalleled power and terror, remembered in the whispered tales of Middle-earth. This journey isn't about ranking them, it's a tribute to their might, their deeds, and the ruins they left behind. So who were these dragons, and what drove them to such relentless destruction? Join us as we explore the deadliest dragons of Middle-earth. By the end, you may decide for yourself, which of them is the mightiest of them all. Our journey begins with the first dragon to terrorize Middle-earth, Glaurung, the father of dragons. Created by Morgoth, the first Dark Lord, Glaurung was a creature of unparalleled cruelty and intellect, a dragon whose malice was matched only by his cunning. Glaurung was no simple monster, he was a weapon wielded to twist and destroy, not just lives, but entire lineages. Glaurung made his first horrific appearance in the Battle of Sudden Flame. His entrance on the battlefield turned the tide, his scales impenetrable, his breath like rivers of molten fire. The terror he inspired left even the strongest hearts trembling. But his might was more than physical. Glaurung was a master of manipulation and sorcery. Through his words and gaze, he planted seeds of despair and doom. When Glaurung crossed paths with the tragic siblings Turin and Nienor, he used his powers to ensnare them in a fate darker than death. With a single gaze, he wiped Nienor's memory, casting her into a whirl of confusion, while leading Turin down a path of endless sorrow and ruin. Their doom, orchestrated by Glaurung, became one of Middle-earth's most tragic tales. In the end, Glaurung met his death by Turin's hand, but his legacy of malice endured. He shattered lives, cursed bloodlines, and left wounds that even time could not heal. Though other dragons would come after him, none would wield his twisted intelligence or his dark gifts of deception. If Glaurung was Morgoth's cunning weapon, then Ancalagon the Black was his instrument of absolute devastation. Ancalagon was created as Morgoth's final answer to the might of the Valar, a dragon so immense and powerful that his wings could blot out the sun itself. Ancalagon was unleashed in the War of Wrath, Middle-earth's final conflict of the First Age. His arrival marked a moment of horror, even for the most powerful beings in the world. His roar could be heard across continents, his flames incinerating everything in their path. When he finally fell, after a grueling battle with Eärendil and the Eagles, the very mountains of Thangorodrim crumbled under his weight, reshaping the land in a single apocalyptic blow. Ancalagon was a weapon of cataclysmic force. His death marked the end of Morgoth's reign, a powerful symbol that even the mightiest dragons and the darkest forces have an end. But his memory lived on, a shadow that echoed in tales for ages to come. Far to the north, among the snowy peaks and shadows of the misty mountains, lurked a dragon feared by both dwarves and men alike. Scatha the Worm, one of the cold-hearted cold drakes, was a raider, a thief, and a relentless pursuer of treasure. Though Scatha lacked the fiery breath of his kin, he made up for it in sheer ruthless ferocity. He was a dragon of hunger, and his horde became the stuff of legends among the dwarves. His relentless raids created an era of fear and resentment in the north. Fram, a prince of the Eotheod, eventually slew Scatha in a fierce battle, claiming his hoard, a treasure that sparked a bitter feud between Fram's people and the dwarves. Scatha's tale might be lesser known, but his legacy of greed and discord endured. Even in death, his actions left scars of mistrust between men and dwarves. a lasting testament to the dragon's influence over the lives of Middle-earth's peoples. Smaug the Golden, the last of the great fire drakes, and perhaps Tolkien's most iconic dragon. Smaug's attack on Erebor marked the end of an era for the dwarves, leaving their once prosperous kingdom in ruins and cloaking the lonely mountain in fear. Smaug was no mindless creature. His intelligence and arrogance made him as dangerous as his fire. His encounter with Bilbo Baggins is one of Tolkien's most famous scenes, capturing Smaug's cunning, his pride, and his overwhelming sense of superiority. His confidence was his undoing, however, as his hubris led him to reveal the single weak spot in his armor. With a single arrow, Bard ended Smaug's life, but the dragon's death left a ripple effect across Middle-earth. It sparked the Battle of the Five Armies, a conflict that would define the fate of Erebor and its surrounding realms. Even in death, Smaug's shadow loomed large over Middle-earth. In a tale far from the fiery depths of Middle-earth, there was a dragon of an unusual kind, Chrysophylax Dives. Hailing from Tolkien's whimsical tale Farmer Giles of Home, Chrysophylax was less a creature of destruction and more of self-interest. Wily and charming, Chrysophylax was known for his wit and a tendency to avoid conflict when it suited him. Chrysophylax had his own kind of power, diplomacy. Faced with Farmer Giles and the threat of a kingdom's armies, he chose negotiation over force. With a sense of humor and a begrudging respect for Farmer Giles, Chrysophylax showed that not all dragons rely solely on fire and terror to get their way. In his own cunning way, Chrysophylax proved that even dragons can possess subtlety. While he may not have left behind ruins or broken kingdoms, he left a legacy of a different kind, showing that even the mightiest can be humbled. Last we turn to the Cold Drakes, an entire breed of dragons that roamed the northern wastes. Unlike their fire-breathing kin, the Cold Drakes relied on brute strength, their icy scales and relentless determination, making them formidable opponents for the dwarves of the north. Though they lacked fire, the Cold Drakes' resilience made them a serious threat. They led campaigns against the dwarves, forcing these stout-hearted warriors to guard their homes and treasure with unwavering vigilance. In their own way, these Cold Drakes left a legacy of frost and blood on the history of Middle-earth. So ends our journey through the fire and frost of Tolkien's mightiest dragons. From Glaurung's dark manipulations to Ancalagon's cataclysmic power, each dragon left marks on Middle-earth that time could never erase. In their wake they left both ashes and tales, legends of terror, greed and destruction. Do you think we missed any dragons? Let us know if there's another legendary beast we should explore. And finally, we have to ask, who do you think is the mightiest dragon in Tolkien's world? Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much to all the new subscribers. Your support really motivates me to bring more Tolkien stories to life. See you next time.